Hi guys, how are you? Happy Sunday school day. I want to make sure before we get started, you guys should have gotten a brown book like this in the mail. This one is JoJo's, but he's letting me borrow it. I want you to make sure you have your book and that you have colors or markers or pencils or something that you can work in your book on while we are talking about this week's lesson. That way your hands can be busy while your ears are being busy. So what you're going to do in your book is you're going to open your book up. Down in the bottom corner, it shows dates for every week, and you're going to want to turn your book to the 6/14 date because that's this Sunday. So you're going to want to turn it there, and then you can work on doing the activities that are on the 6/14 date while you are listening to this week's lesson and watching it. And if you guys haven't gotten a book and you think you should have gotten a book, give Vera a call or call or email me and we'll make sure and get you a book. So let me know. So this summer, like we've talked about, we're learning how to be the church while we're not at church. And this week we're going to start out again. We're going to hear a letter out of Paul Writes a Letter by Chris Rashka. And this is the letter we're going to hear this week. Do you see Paul there writing a letter? It says, "Dear friends in Rome, I'm planning a visit on my way to Spain. First, I must stop in Jerusalem." And I'll show you this page so you can see it. Have you guys written any letters since you've started being at home? I know my guys have written a bunch of letters. So Paul goes on to say, "Remember, love your neighbor as much as you love yourselves. Please greet my friend Priscilla for me. Also, my friend Phoebe is on her way to see you. Grace be with you, Paul." So here it is. And this is really what we're going to focus on today, guys. Remember, love your neighbors as much as you love yourself. And I want you guys to think and talk to your mom and dad and brothers and sisters about this. Who is your neighbor? I mean, you have the easy answer that your neighbor is the people that live on your street. They're the people that live by you. Those are neighbors. But who in the Christian sense or the Episcopalian sense is your neighbor? And think about who Jesus would say is your neighbor. I think Jesus would say that your neighbor is anybody in your community. Anybody you come across is a neighbor, or someone that could be a friend and treated with kindness. Today we're going to hear a book that is read by Jason Hart called "Maybe I Can Love My Neighbor Too." And it's written by Jennifer Grant. And we're going to switch to him and you'll hear him reading it while you're working in your workbooks. Your guys' job for this week is I want you to think of one way that you can show love for your neighbor. And not only do I want you to think about it, I want you to actually do it. So if the way you're going to love your neighbor is, I'm going to pick up trash on my walk, do it. If the way you're going to love your neighbor is you're going to smile and wave at the people that are walking by your house, do it. If the way you're going to love your neighbor is you're going to write a card to a teacher or a mailman or somebody to brighten their day, do it. But come up with a plan for this week of how you're going to love your neighbor and then get that plan done. And if anybody wants to post to the Facebook page of St. Stephen's as far as what they did to love their neighbor this week, we would really like to see that. Or if somebody wants to shoot me an email or give me a call and let me know what they did, I'll sure let everybody know next week what people are doing this week to be the church and love their neighbor. So, have a good week, guys. I miss you. Enjoy the story, and I will see you again next week. Bye.
Hi there. My name is Jason Hart, and I'm a member of St. Stephen's Church, and I'm reading for you Maybe I Can Love My Neighbor Too, written by Jennifer Grant and illustrated by Benjamin Schipper. I live at the corner of 9th and 19th upstairs in apartment 4A. A building is going up across the street. Week after week, it grows taller and taller, climbing up high in the sky. Mama, will all the new people be our neighbors too? I asked one day. Every single person is our neighbor, she says, whether they live next door or across the street or far, far away. I know I'm supposed to love my neighbors, but how can I love that many people? I ask. Mama gives me a hug. Oh, honey, she says, I'm sure you'll find a way. Maybe start by noticing the ways others share their love. A man walks by the construction site, pushing a shopping cart that's stuffed with blankets and bags. The wheels hit a bump in the road, and the cart almost tips over. But one of the workers moves fast to catch it and sets it upright again. Helping someone who's just passing by is a way to show love. Maybe I can love my neighbor too. Mama and I walk down to the park, just like we do every day. I see a man and a woman up ahead talking to people while they wait at the light. I stare at the pictures on the man's arms while he tells Mama about people who had to leave their homes because they weren't safe anymore. Mama hands a few dollars to the woman who has a purple stripe in her hair. Giving money so people can have a safe place to live is a way to show love. Maybe I can love my neighbor too. At the park, an old man is shouting his dog's name. Shadow! Shadow! He calls. A boy runs after the dog, diving to catch him. A minute later, Shadow is back with his owner. The old man says, "Thank you," over and over and over. Helping older folks is a way to show love. Maybe I can love my neighbor too. Mama, look at me, I shout, and she waves from the bench under her favorite tree. When I'm all out of breath, I sit at the edge of the sandbox watching the other kids play. A girl tosses me a shovel and pail. Then we build the most elegant castle and dig a moat around it. We decorate it with royal flags made of sticks and seeds and leaves. That was kind of that girl, Mama says when we're walking back home. I liked seeing how she loved her neighbor, and the neighbor this time was you. Sharing toys with a new friend is a way to show love. Maybe I can love my neighbor too. There's sand between my toes, and Mama says, "It's time for the tub." But then we hear a knock at the door. It's our neighbors from upstairs, and they baked us a loaf of bread. Sharing good things to eat is a way to show love. Maybe I can love my neighbor too. At dinner, I tell Daddy, "Guess what? I learned something new today." "Well, that's what I like to hear," he says. "What is it?" "Every person in the whole world is my neighbor," I say, "and I can love them too." I could give my birthday money to someone who needs it more than me, I say. Or I could carry groceries or open doors for people who aren't as strong as I am. I pull up my sleeves and show my muscles. There are a lot of ways, I say. I can be kind to other kids in the park or even bake something to share with people in our building. I knew you'd find ways to show love to others, Mama says with a smile. Every person in the whole wide world is my neighbor, whether they live next door or across the street or far, far away. And I know I can love my neighbors too.